Hey, what's up, folks? How's it going? So today's interview question is: what are the difference between bridge, host, and overlay network? Question can be like, what are the different networks are there which are popularly used, right? Or when will you use which network of Docker? When will you use bridge? When will you use host or overlay, right? So this is we'll have a look at this question now. First, we'll discuss what are these networks, and then we'll see some examples. Once you see the examples, I will show how it's working. I will create a small application, and I will show you how it's working. And after that, we'll come to a quiz, the end. Okay, so stay till the end. So, what is the bridge network? Bridge network is a default mode, default network in Docker. So, it's the default network in the Docker. And container in a bridge network communicate via virtual network bridge, that is Docker queue. So here, see all these Docker containers, they're able to communicate with this bridge network, this blue one, bridge network. It's able to communicate. All these three able to communicate. But they are isolated from this host. Okay. So container can talk to each other using container names, but isolated from the host. So what are the use cases? When multiple containers on the same host need to communicate, example microservices in local environment, or running standalone application with isolated networking. Okay. And when you need port mapping, if you can do port mapping like minus P 8080 colon 80, so it will be exposed a container service to the host. Suppose this container is running on port 8080 here, and this 8080 you can expose to port 80 of host. That you can do. So we'll see example, but before that we'll go to host network. What is host network? Host network container shares the same network stack as the host. So there is no isolation at all. So there is no network isolation. What are the use cases? When performance is very critical, low latency application, we can use host network. Running application that require access to host network interfaces like some monitoring tools, we may need a host network. And when port mapping is not needed, since the container directly uses host ports. Okay. For example, here we are running Nginx on host network. We are specifying network equal to host. So let's see the example first. Here it's a small Python application where it's running. Yeah, and on root slash actually like root path. When if you hit the root path, it will return hello from container and container ID. This is a very simple application and socket application. And Docker file, I'm building it using Python base image. And then working directory, I'm setting it, then copying the current directory contents to the container, then installing a Flask, etc. and Curl, and making port 5000 available to the world outside the container. And then finally running the application. Okay. So we'll be building this one. Docker build minus t flask cat dot. So I'm building it. So build is successful, and we can see that image got created. Docker images. Yeah, flask app this got created, and now we'll be running the container. We'll run two containers in the background. This is the first container, container one, and we are using the image flask app. And container 2 is the second container, and image is same image flask app. So what's happening here? The bridge network, we are running two container, and this container listening to port number 5000, and this container also listening to port number 5000 on its IP, on each of its IP. This guy is listening to its IP, this guy container 2 is listening to its IP. So this is done. Two containers are running now. Now uh, we need to we can communicate we can test the communication between the container. So container one can talk to container two. So before that we need to get the IP address. So let's do docker inspect container 1 and get the IP address. And similarly, docker inspect container 2 and get the IP address of the container 2. Docker inspect for container 2 and let's get the IP address. So I got the IP addresses dot 0 dot 2 dot 0 dot 3. Okay. Now these IP addresses and they are on different network, Docker 0 network. And now I'll be running this command here from container 1. I will be pinging to container 2. Container 1 is this one, and container 2 is this one. So container 2 IP address is this. Okay, IP address colon 5000. So here you can see that it worked and it has replied back hello container that container is. But if I do call localhost, it won't work because these guys are not mapped to localhost. So it's isolated from localhost. So this is the bridge network. So we are done with the bridge network, and now we'll look into the host network. So host network, let's run host network container 3, and here minus minus network host. Host network is running. Now I can do call localhost. So this container network is not isolated with host. It's using the host network only. Okay. So there is some issue. I think we need to use 127.0.0.1. Okay. Still there is some issue. Okay. So it's not working. I have created the host network for this container. Let me see, inspect the container 3. It's showing host. So network is host. Let's see whether it's running or not. Docker log container 3. Yes, it's running on this 127.0.1. Okay. So it won't work as it is because uh, on Mac it's little different. On if I would have run on Linux, then it would have been working. But since I'm running Mac, Mac is running another virtual machine. So localhost is not same as the localhost of Mac. Here it's pointing to that virtual machine. So it won't work that way. Mm, we can also see that here. Here it's 65.3 running on this, but on Mac machine, if I see my iPad is on Mac machine, it's 192.168.18.2. So it's different from this. So this is the IP address of that host, that virtual machine. But if it is a, if I would have run this Docker on a Linux machine, this host networking would work as expected. But here, unfortunately, it did not work. Okay. So, but you got the idea. What is host networking? Where there's no isolation with the uh, host operating system. If it is a Linux machine, if it is a Mac machine, Mac is again running another virtual machine, so there is another level isolation is there already. Next is the overlay network. So overlay network is what we generally do in overlay network. Uh, its communication happens between multiple nodes. So first we initialize the Docker. That's fine. I'm not showing this. And here we create the network driver overlay. After that, we create a service, and then we can run this service, and then we can see that its containers are able to communicate across different hosts. So far host means across different hosts, that is for overlay. So far host and bridge network, whatever I showed, that is on my computer. But overlay network, it's between two hosts. So there are two hosts, there is physical network between them, and overlay network is created between on top of the physical network and between two different hosts. So let's see where do we use overlay network. So it's a distributed network, multi-host communication in Docker Swarm or Kubernetes we use. And use cases when running multiple hosts, Docker Swarm cluster, or when container needs to communicate across different machines. And it's ideal for scalable and distributed application. So these are the use cases for Docker Swarm. So now let's go to today's quiz. So what is the default networking mode in Docker? As we know, the default networking mode is bridge network, right? And next question is, which Docker network mode is used for communication between containers across multiple nodes? This one is overlay network. So that's it for today. Hope you like this video. Please like it, share it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also follow my LinkedIn page where I post quizzes and conduct contests also sometimes. And also follow my WhatsApp channel, Devops channel. Thank you for watching this video.